All right, all right. We are live. Yes, we are. We are live on Facebook and now we are live on Instagram. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
hello.
How are you guys doing today? It is another day to be in the land of the living, honey.
Ooh, yes.
In the land of the
Land
living.
of the living. You said the key word.
Okay, on the what they say on the top of the ground. We're blessed being on the top of the ground and have another day to really impact people's lives. And so
Yes.
today is no different than what we have always done. Another week, here we are once again, just to help business owners to do what? Girl,
Girl, you
you
better
better
mind
mind
your
your money.
money.
You better mind your money. And so that is why we are here today. So go ahead and get your notepad pad out. We always say note takers are money makers.
Money
So go
makers.
ahead and share this. Oh my God. Hey, Coach James, how you doing? Oh, Coach James Keith Powers
Yes.
has joined the IG live. How you doing, Coach James? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining us today. Miss Angeline and I, we are still representing the MDS team. Okay. Yes, indeed. Yes, we are. We're so glad to see you today. Today's topic is a wonderful topic. And some people will be like, Katrina, we didn't heard this. We know about credit. What are you talking about? But today, you guys, I am going to hopefully point out some things that you did not know about how to get what they call a Cinderella profile. And I know yeah, and now some people will be like, what is a Cinderella profile? Well, we're going to talk about it. So go ahead and share this share on Money Coach Katrina Fitten and share on Grow, Thrive, and Prosper IG. Go ahead and let your business partner, your friend, your cousin, go ahead and invite people to tell them to come on over to the live.
Come on
Okay.
over. Yeah. If they
Come
know how to go
over.
learn how to build wealth and you know,
Yes.
you know, and get their business going, they need to be on this feed, right?
Exactly. Because let me tell you something. What people don't realize is that your credit can save you a lot of money. Okay.
Say that for the back of the room, girl. Back of the room.
Your credit can save you a lot of money. Okay. A lot of money. And literally, it's almost like favor. Okay. It's
Yes.
almost like favor. It's like when you go and you do an application, you go and get a house, get an investment property, go
Uh-huh.
try to get a vehicle, whether it's for personal purpose or business purposes. When you go to try to secure a line of credit and and they pull up your credit score and you got 750, they just treat you a little different.
Talk about it. Talk
They
about it.
treat you a little different when you go into that dealership and they be like, "Hi, how you doing, Miss Harris?" You're like, "Yes," and you're looking around, and then they be like, "Well, you see anything you like?" You're like, "Yes, I think I like this right here on the showroom floor." So, last time I got a car, honey, I bought the car off the showroom floor.
Go.
I'm just like, "What? I like this one right here, honey." And I'm telling you, they pulled me up and they was just like subservient at a moment because they were like, "Well, ma'am, how can we help you, Miss Fitten?" Because when you look at your credit score, they just treat you a little
A
different.
little different. A little different, huh?
That's a little bit different, and you may can come out of that thing with 0% interest, for introductory period. You may come out of there with the lowest interest rate possible and the lowest payment possible, all
Uh-huh.
of the things. They be like, "Ma'am, you don't even have to worry about a down payment." You see how that works? Yeah, girl,
Cinderella profile.
a
That's the Cinderella
Cinderella.
profile.
Exactly. It's like, it's just like, you are the queen, what I'm saying? You are the creme de la creme, the top level, treatment that you get when you have what they call a 750 plus credit score in that excellent range. And if you can hit that team 800, oh my goodness, honey. I'm
All
telling you,
right, all
you can
right.
just about get anything, okay, at the best rates possible. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
So if you are trying to strive to get a perfect credit profile, you need to be in the room.
In the
Okay,
room.
get
In the
in,
room.
get
We
in the
talked about that
room.
last week, right? Being in the community, the right community, with the at the right time, with the right people to make the right connections in the room.
Exactly. So go ahead and invite, for you guys that are listening at the replay, go ahead and hit that share button. Okay. You listen at the replay on my IG or Facebook, or her IG or Facebook. Go ahead and hit that share button. Be like, look, you need to improve your credit. Let me go ahead and send this to you. Okay. Go ahead and do that for us. I'd greatly appreciate. For you guys who it is your first time here today, my name is Katrina Fitten, better known as the funding queen, as some call me. I am the owner, founder, and CEO of New Day for You Financial, and I help business owners get funding. Okay, get money for their business, whether it's to start their business, to grow or scale their business. This is what I do all day, all day. This is a wonderful, wonderful place to be in, to be able to just help people to take not having enough money just
Yes.
off the table.
Off the
Like,
table.
take that off the table. We're going to get you the money, and we're going to show you how, if you have any gaps. I always say, you either ready for money now or you ready later.
All right.
Okay.
Now
And
or later.
and my business bestie over here, Miss Angeline Harris, honey, we are a double whammy, honey. We give you the 1-2 punch. Okay. And she is the tax queen. Tell the people how you are here to support and help the people.
Yes, 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 girl. After you get the money, guess what I do?
What you do,
I
girl?
help them keep the money. So, as
Yes.
you say, always tell them the money needs to have a mission. And so
Yes.
that's where I come in to support the women to help them keep the money by either providing them tax strategy, or
Yes.
providing them with a way to track their money in a systematic way, so that they know what their money is doing, how it is flowing, so that they can grow, thrive, and prosper in their business. So
Yeah.
you get them the money, sister, and I help them keep the money.
That's right. That's right. You let them take advantage of what the wealthy, the 1% of the 1%, what they do, honey. They are
Right.
strategizing. They're minimizing their their
The
taxes,
tax bill.
tax bill. Sometimes not even have to even pay any taxes.
Oh
So
no. Oh no. Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing. You've saved clients thousands,
I
right?
have saved clients thousands of dollars in taxes. Yes. I don't know if you want to share a quick story. I know my
Yes.
first client was a W-2 wage earner, making almost, it was just a little shy of $1 million in W-2 income, right? And he came to me, he was like, Angeline, I am sick and tired of paying. I mean, he was paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in
Oh my God.
taxes because he had no write-offs. He had
Oh my
nothing.
God. No.
Everything was just going out of his paycheck to Uncle Sam into the state. And so when we got on a call, and we talked about it, what his goals, what his objectives was, what he wanted to do, in
Mhm.
life, think beyond work, outside the box. And he worked for a big company right here in California, making that seven-figure
Wow.
income, but he didn't know how to protect his
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. You know
And
what?
so, we
Don't hurt
set up
you, honey.
strategies. Yeah, we got him the right business entity set up. And so now he has actually built wealth. He has investment properties. Okay. A matter of fact, he has like, I think he bought 2 more last year. So he has like 5 doors plus a multi-unit property.
Yeah.
I mean, he, when I laid out the strategy, he went in quick and heavy. I mean, he the ground running, girl. I was like, oh, okay. He was kind of shocking me. But anyway, and even now he's getting hundreds of $1,000s back in refund.
Mm. Oh
Because
my
now
God.
all that money they're taking out in his W-2 income, he's getting it back as a refund because he's overpaying in taxes on his W-2 income.
Wow. Now that's perfect tax strategy right there.
That's tax strategy. Leveraging the tax code, not being afraid of it, not running from it, but
Yeah.
leveraging, learn it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that you have to know anything. That's what do we say when you want
You
to go
want to go
faster?
faster? Hire the
Hire
master.
the master.
That's it. You're the expert, honey. I'm telling you, that is awesome. Well, welcome. Miss Charlie is in the building. We got
Hey, Miss Charlie.
Miss Donna is in the building today. Thank y'all for joining us today. Thank y'all for joining us today. Get ready, because you know what? Today we're going to be diving into a topic that affects almost every part of your financial life. But that many people don't really fully realize, Miss Angeline, is their credit profile.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about their credit score, and they're
Sure.
like
Uh-huh.
running, it's like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I got a 700, I got an 800, but no one's
Uh-huh.
really considering their entire credit profile.
Profile. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the credit profile. And so now when most people hear the word credit, they immediately think about one thing, and that is their credit score. But maybe that's a number that you can kind of check, obviously, on your banking app, on Credit Karma, all of the things.
Mhm.
But
Right.
something that I want people to realize is that when you like apply for a car loan or a mortgage or even a credit card, while that score does matter when you're applying, it's not the only one piece of a which is a
It's not
it's
the
part
main
of a
factor.
bigger picture. Yeah, it's a
Right.
bigger picture,
Right.
you got.
Right.
And so it's
Mhm.
not just the score. The score kind of gets you in the door.
Right.
Okay. It gets
Gotcha.
you in the door and everything, but they're going to do what they call underwriting. They're going to look at the entire profile to really make a final decision. That's why a lot of times they're sending you these emails, these flyers, these things in the mail. They're calling you, they're doing texts, they're doing everything. Say, oh, you're pre-approved, you're pre-approved, you're pre-approved. And
Mhm.
when in actuality, they just think you may be pre-approved. They
Make
forgot
you
that
think you
word may.
pre-approved.
Yeah, they forgot that word may in
May.
there. Yeah, it may be pre-approved. And so they're just obviously it's just advertisement, right?
Right.
It's just a trigger for you to at least apply or to call or to come
Mhm.
into the bank or what have you.
Right.
They're just
Right. Right.
triggering you because they know out of 1 out of 10, or I don't know what the statistic is, but a certain percentage, if it's almost like what we always say, go ahead and get 100 no's, because if you can hurry up and get to that 100 no, you're gonna run into a yes. Okay. And so that's what they're doing. They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall saying you're pre-approved,
Uh-huh.
when in actuality they have not looked at your credit profile. They have not looked at what you got going on, your DTI. They don't even know whether you got a job. You unemployed over there. They talking about you pre-approved. You see what I'm saying? This don't make sense. Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
I have
And that's
people
true. I've seen that. You're absolutely
and I
right.
have people all the time, well, Katrina, I just got this thing in the mail. It said I was pre-approved. I'm like, baby, you ain't pre-approved. You're not. Okay. That's just mail. Okay. That anybody can mail something out saying that.
Propaganda. Propaganda.
Propaganda. Come on now. And
Mhm.
so now when most people hear the word credit, Like I said, we always think about your credit score, but what
Right.
lenders and banks or even some landlords or insurers, everybody's looking at the credit score these days. Your insurance people are looking at your credit score, to get your car insurance, your
Yeah.
landlord, you go try to get an
Get a
apartment. They
rent.
look at the
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
everybody is looking
Yes.
because they just like, I just need to know what your history is, okay?
Right.
They want to know if they're gonna have some issues, okay?
Right.
And so after often looking at it, not just at the score, but the entire credit profile. So the profile tells the story. Okay, come
Mhm.
on, storytellers. The
All right.
profile tells the
The
story.
story.
It's that history. Okay, it's the history. It shows how you've handled borrowing money over time.
Over
It
time.
re-
Mhm.
it reflects whether you pay your bills on time, how much
Mhm.
of your available credit that you're using, how
Okay.
long you've been managing your accounts, what type of accounts you have, how many revolving accounts you have, how many installment accounts you have. Do you have any derogatories? Do you have any public records that are out there?
Uh-huh.
They're just looking, they looking at your inquiries to say, okay, have you been applying often? They want to look for any warning signs in your financial behavior. Okay. They're
Okay.
looking at risk. So today we're going to answer three major questions, you guys, and that is this. Number one, what is a perfect credit profile? Number two, we're going to
Uh-huh.
answer what are the main components of a perfect credit profile? And
Okay.
then third, what steps can you take to build a strong, robust, trustworthy credit profile over time? Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Those are good
Let's get,
questions. And I'm
yeah,
sure that
let's get
everyone
into it.
can definitely pull something from these three questions and
Yeah,
apply it to themselves. They can take action on these three questions.
exactly. So I want to be clear from the beginning. A perfect credit profile does not mean perfection. Okay.
Or
And
having
here's
that perfect score.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have an 850.
Okay.
Perfection is an 850, right? Because
Okay.
that's the highest score that you can get. And you would consider that 100% perfection is the highest score.
Okay. Right.
That's not
Uh-huh.
what we're talking about. That doesn't mean you need to be, it doesn't even mean to, doesn't mean that you are wealthy. Okay, so these are misconceptions. Doesn't mean you have a perfect credit score. It
Okay.
doesn't mean that you're wealthy. It doesn't mean that you need to carry debt forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it definitely doesn't mean you need to play complicated financial games by, trying to figure out the code or the algorithm and you
All
have
of that. Yeah. All
yeah,
of that.
none of that. None of that. But what it
Okay.
really means is this, that you have built a consistent, okay, healthy
Consistent, healthy
pattern
patterns.
of using credit responsibly.
Consistent, healthy pattern using credit responsibly.
Yes. And so this is the thing that a lot of us, oh my goodness, let's get into it. Here we go. A lot of us fear credit. Like if we've had what I call trauma, financial
Yeah.
trauma with
Mm-hmm.
credit, where you got a line of credit while you didn't understand what it was. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
taught you about it because they didn't teach you in school.
No,
Nobody
oh, no,
taught
no.
you about credit. And so they
And
just,
your
when
parents,
you
most likely your parents didn't teach you either.
and most likely your parents and their parents didn't teach them.
Didn't. Right.
Okay. And they didn't teach it in school, they didn't teach it in college. And so you end up in college walking around in the student center, and they was giving Ray free candy and free t-shirts and a free something. And they said all you had to do is fill out this
Fill out
application
this application. Guilty.
because they had to meet a quota. Okay. They had to meet a
Guilty.
quota how many applications they got filled out to get paid. Okay.
Yep.
And they got people to fill out all these applications, gave them credit $500, $400 at
Mm-hmm.
a store or Visa or MasterCard or charge or whatever. And people didn't even have a clue what they was doing. Like they had not a clue. Okay.
Not a clue.
And they ended up, obviously getting things, derogatories on their credit, going into collections and start, plummeting their credit score before they would even able to build credit. Okay. And so what happened is that they went somewhere to go buy a car, to get a house or an apartment or whatever, some furniture, whatever they was trying to do. And all of a sudden they looked at their credit score and it's like, oh my God, I have bad credit and don't even
Mhm.
realize what happened.
What
And
happened?
so
Right.
exactly. And so what happened, they
And
ended up
especially
getting.
over time, especially if it happened some time ago, and then now it's hitting you in the face.
Yeah, they've been to school 4 years and they had this
Mhm,
credit card. They kept getting the credit cards, just running it up to the
mhm,
limit and didn't even have a job. They didn't even
mhm.
confirm that the people had a job before they gave them these cards. Like, just gave them to them
Scandalous,
like candy.
scandalous.
It is scandalous. Just it's called predator lending. I mean, just
Pred
predator.
predators.
And
Mhm.
trying to, and that's what predator lending is all about, is allowing people to get into debt when
Yeah,
they don't even have a clue. They don't have the education or the financial literacy or the financial, wherewithal on what they're doing. They're
right.
taking
Exactly.
advantage of them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just like,
exactly.
don't get me on these school loans because that's a whole nother situation. People
Next
just
time,
keep on racking up these school loans.
next week.
It's it's predator. It's given predator ish. Okay,
Ish. There you
tendencies
go. Ish. Mhm,
tendencies, okay? And it's just like in the neighborhoods that you see where they be a little ghetto-ish, then they
mhm,
have these payday loans, that are
mhm,
in these communities. I mean, again,
mhm.
taking advantage of people who are in financial distress,
Right.
that are unstable, lack
Yeah.
knowledge, and they're really causing them to, what my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And so this is what the credit profile does. It's looking for consistent, healthy patterns of using credit responsibly. And so when you do identify what your credit score is, meaning you have to go look at your credit report, okay? You can go
Mhm.
to annualcreditreport.com, okay? And they give you all your credit reports from the major three bureaus for free, okay? And that allows you to be able to see what's all on your credit, okay, so that you can get your credit repaired, restored, renewed, and then you start building new consistent, healthy patterns with using credit responsibly. And so you don't have to fear credit, you guys. It's just a matter of not over leveraging yourself with the capacity of what you can afford or
Right.
you can handle, according to what you bring in monthly. And that's why they look at your debt to income ratio, how much you make according to how much your monthly expenses are that are on your credit.
Right.
They can
Yes.
determine how much credit limit that you can have the capacity to be able to use responsibly if that's what
Right.
they're doing. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
And so by the end of this episode, you guys, you should have a much clearer understanding of what lenders like to see, what hurts a profile and what strengthens it, and how you can start building and improving your own credit profile in a practical and sustainable way. So let's get into it. So, what is a credit profile? Before I talk about a perfect credit profile, let's define what is a credit profile. What is that actually is. So a credit profile is an overall record of your credit behavior.
Uh-huh.
It includes the information found in your credit report and the factors used to calculate your credit score. So it is essential that you develop a what they call a borrowing reputation. And so this month, as we're talking about all things credit, it's really seeing, Miss Angeline, are you
Uh-huh.
credible? Are you credible?
Are you credible?
Are you credible? Can
Can we
you
trust?
trust you?
Can
Yes.
we trust?
Can we trust you? And are you a person of your word?
Word. Mm,
Yeah. That is the most simplest way I can lay it out.
yeah.
And just think of it as your financial resume.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is. And so when a lender looks at your profile, they're trying to answer a basic question. If we lend you this money, okay, or if we give you this car, if we give you this home, if you give
Right.
you this furniture, if we give you this credit, how likely are you going to pay us back on time? Not just pay us back, pay
Right.
us back on
On
time
time. Uh-huh.
and manage the account responsibly. That's what they are considering. That's really what credit
That
is
makes
all about.
sense. And that's only fair.
Yeah, and so you can explain this to your 5 years old. You can change
Right.
explain this to your 10-year-old. It's as easy as a fifth grader. Okay,
Yeah.
just talk to them just like that. Hey, if I give you $100, can I trust you if we made an agreement to
Hmm.
pay this $100 back $10 a month for the next 12 months? Will you pay me on time and will you be responsible and pay it all back? And they say we just want a little interest on it. Okay, so they may tack on a little interest. Okay,
Right.
can you pay this back? So that's simply what credit is all about. Okay, so what's included in the credit profile? Okay, first you have open accounts. So if you have a teenager 18 years old and you want them to start building their credit, the first thing they need to do is they need to open an account. And I'm gonna say this, and I shouldn't have to say this, Miss Angeline, but you might want to just pull their credit. Just make sure that uncle or aunt, somebody, or their parents didn't already open up an account in their name.
I've seen that happen so many times. But
Hmm.
parents have done that to their children,
Hmm. And mess up their
when they
credit.
were, yes, and mess up their credit. You
Yeah.
know, and
Anybody had that done to them? Put it in the chat. Mm.
yeah, and uh it's a widespread thing. It's not an anomaly. It's a wide
Yeah.
people do this all the time, and that is so
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, and it's not funny. They just do it, because they have messed up their credit, and so they're
Messed
using
up their
their
own,
Social
right?
Security to open up an account in their children's name. Got the light bill in the name, got the water bill in their name. Mm.
It is. It's a sad thing, but
I'm just
it's a
saying.
real thing. It's a real thing. And
Out of
and then
desperate, you know,
out of
they're
right,
trying to
out of
survive,
desperation. Right. Mhm. Mhm.
trying to survive, because they got to have a light bill, they got to have a water bill.
Yeah. Yeah. But and unfortunately, it's a real thing, and it happens often,
This
very
is the kind of
often.
stuff we talk about, Miss Angeline. Nobody
I
talks about
know.
this part.
And it's and people don't talk about that part. They don't be real, you know. And so, sis, let's just take a little tangent off of that. So,
Yeah.
if that has happened to a dependent or child, let's say
Mm.
somebody, you know, coming of age now, they're 19, 20, they're coming out on their own. So,
Mm.
what can they do, or what should they do once they pull their credit and they're like, oh, there's a
Mhm.
card on there, there's a car
Yeah,
purchase or something. They see all this something negative on there that is affecting. So what can they do? Is there any
yeah. Well, I mean,
specification on that?
unfortunately, this is a little touchy, because essentially it's fraud.
Hmm. Mm,
That part.
mm. Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
because
you call a
it was
spade a
taken
spade.
illegally. Yeah, they were using their information illegally.
Right. So obviously you can, get with a credit repair specialist or, those that, do that type of work to do
Hmm.
the proper filings and the letters to be able to get that removed, obviously, and everything. And so, it's a little situation. I mean, because it could go legal, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you do a fraud report, you do a police report, go, file to the FTC and, all of the filings
Wow.
that you can
That
do.
gets,
But
oh gosh,
yeah, it's a
that's a lot.
sticky situation. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
sticky situation, but you can, say you don't know who did it, get it, removed and all of the things, and that way you can clear your credit up. How I'm The only sad part about it, Miss Angeline, is that if that account is on there and say it's in collections, it's
Yeah.
driven that person's score down, or
Yeah.
even if the account is on there and it's not their account and it's got them in good standing, and you remove it, it could remove your history.
Ah, yes. Have a negative effect that way because they're removing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then closing that account, I mean, it
Right.
impacts the
Yes.
algorithm or the calculation
Right.
of that score. So it's just, whoo, girl, it's
Yeah.
just,
It's not a win-win out of that at all.
it is not, but you can just go
Mhm.
ahead and do what you got to do to just clean it up or whatever. But
Absolutely.
your credit profile, it includes open accounts, right? Because what
Right.
you're doing, you are what they call opening up a trade line. It's a line of credit where you are trading goods and
Mhm.
services, and
Mhm.
so they've
Mhm.
given you a line of money, and they are saying, hey, whether if it's a store card or a vendor card, we're saying, hey, if you buy goods, and we'll give you a line of credit to purchase up to a certain amount,
Mhm.
and you pay us back, and you are, essentially trading, right? And
Gotcha. Yeah.
everything. And so it's an open account, whether it's a credit card, an auto loan, a mortgage, a student loan. And that's a whole nother story about these student loans. I've had
Uh-huh.
clients, who didn't, after they had everybody's, student loans on hold for so many years. And then obviously with our new, president office, they have now changed. If they didn't have, any type of arrangements made, their loans went in default, and it immediately put them in 90-day lates and 120-day lates,
Yeah.
and plummeted their credit scores. I had clients who literally were in the middle of funding, and their credit score, dropped 100 points, and we had to stop the funding process. So,
Wow.
but yeah, it's all open accounts that is on your credit profile. So you have open accounts, and then you have
Yes.
closed accounts. So, for example, if you had an installment account, it was for a fixed amount over a certain term, and you finish, making those payments.
Payments.
That
Mhm.
account is now closed and
Mhm.
paid in full,
Right.
right? In comparison to a revolving account, which is like credit cards, it's a variable amount according to how you spend, and you have a payment that you make, and it's an open line of credit. It revolves, it flexes according to how much you have on it. If you don't have anything on it, you don't pay anything, but if you do have something on it, and so that count typically wouldn't close. Okay. Unless there's some other, issues where they will close your account, but other than that, you have your open account, your closed accounts, then you have your payment history. Okay,
Uh-huh.
whether you
Right.
paid on time, and whether you missed payments or whether you fell behind, that history, you're able to see that story, what has happened over the last few years. Have you got paid current, you'll see it on their account where it
Right.
says current every day, every month, excuse me. Or you have some 30-day lates, and every now and then, or yeah, they're looking at your history, and so they're able to see the story and see whether they should take a risk with you. And the thing about it with the score, how they calculate that score, um 35% of the score is payment history, right? Because that's the
So,
core of what credit is all about, right?
right. Your
So it's
history. Yep. What are you
35
doing? Yep.
percent.
What's your
Yeah,
risk?
it's
Mhm.
35% of the score. And then the other part about on the credit profile, what they're looking at is they're looking at your balances and utilization, meaning how much debt you currently owe in comparison to what is available for you to use. And so some people would be like, well, if you gave me 10,000, why can't I use 10,000? Okay. Well, this is the deal. They are literally allowing you to use it. They're giving you 10,000, but they really don't want you to have it utilized at 100% over a consistent period of time. Okay?
Aha.
That
That's
that
the key.
is
A
the key.
consistent period of time.
consent. So if you ran it up to the limit, and to be honest with you, if you run it to the limit, it's going to be over the limit, because when they add that interest on there,
Interest on it if you
it's
don't
gonna
pay it
be,
off with it before the due date,
if you don't
before the
pay it off
statement date.
for the
Hmm.
statement date,
Yeah.
it is going to be reported as it being 100% utilized, and that's going to impact your score greatly. I mean, like, it could be 100 points, right? And so, for you guys who are a part of the She's Fully Funded Club, you guys can join the club by dropping the word CLUB, where I literally broke it down last Friday of how many points are allowed it for each one of those categories. And so I won't go into that part today, but you can join the club, and you can get the T on the how many points. So you can really, put a plan together on how to strategically improve your credit score to get the funding that you need. We want to say hi to HH Renaissance for joining us today. Nightmare Foxy, okay. Thank you for joining us today. But yes, that is something that they're looking at, that those balances and utilization.
How many
So
utilize? Hmm.
yes, and then the next thing they're looking at is credit age. How long your accounts have been open.
Okay.
So what they're saying is that, hey, did you just open this account, a year ago, or have you had that card 20 years, right? That's
Hmm.
some good credit age. And they look at that history, they like, oh my God, the last 6 years, they've been paying on time. They haven't missed a payment. I mean, that's some really good credit age. And that helps you to get that score in those 800 when you have that long credit history. That's why some people buy trade lines, with a lot of history, because they're like, oh, I know that that's important. So credit age, that's why, you guys, and I have a lot of people ask me, well, I'm not using the card no more, I'm just going to close it. No,
Ooh, no, 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 no.
if you
Don't
close
close
that
it.
card,
Like we
that
said last,
all
you could turn it up,
that
but don't close it.
all that age is gone, and you wonder why your credit dropped again. Well, you just closed all that credit history, and so you don't want to do that. And so the next thing that they're looking at is recent applications. Okay, that's why you want to work with a funding advisor like myself and my team here at New Day for You Financial, is because you don't want to just go out randomly
Hmm.
applying for a whole lot of people. Okay, a whole lot of banks and lenders, right? You don't want to, let me just tell you this part. You don't want to go to a car dealership or apply for to get a mortgage approved pre-approval, so that you can go look for houses without a strategic plan. Okay, if you go up in a car dealership, let me tell you, I just saw one the other day, had 11 inquiries. You know they wrong. Why did they run her credit 11 to 11?
Wow.
11, girl. Just man,
That's crazy.
that's what they do. And I always tell people,
But
when
why would they
you,
have to run it 11 times?
because they,
Oh, they're searching like
because they
vendors to do the credit to fund her?
because it's just sad, because they're not doing it with strategy. Girl, they just trying to get you in the car. And
My God.
if you say you want this payment and you want it at this interest or whatever, and this much paid down, they just trying to find the lender
Find
that'll do
somebody
that.
to do that.
And so
Mm,
they'll start with a so many, and then they'll come to
mm,
you and you say no, they don't work. They're gonna go back and they're gonna run some more, and then they just keep on going back and forth. And you up at that
mm,
car dealership all day while they running your credit 11 times.
mm. Oh
The fool,
no.
girl, that's the
Wow.
devil. That's the devil. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Okay. Woo.
But that's
That was a
crazy.
nugget though. That was a good nugget.
Yeah, so this is what you do for you guys who want to throw this. This is a pro tip. If you want to go and get a new car or a used car or a lease car or whatever you're going to get, go to a credit union or go to
Yeah.
your bank and get your money. Go ahead and
Right.
get your auto loan approved, how much
Approved
you
first.
want, all of that, and you walk in there with your money already.
Yeah. That's how
Okay.
I've always
Or do
shopped.
like I do. I just call them and say, I want this, 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 this. Y'all call me when y'all ready. Because I'm
Now
not
I
doing
haven't
that.
done that. That when you shared that with me before, I'm like that. That's how I'm going to shop for my next one.
Come on now. Come on. That's what I'm saying. When you
Yeah.
got Cinderella, this is what you do. You call the shots. Okay.
Right.
Even if you ain't got Cinderella, you call the shots. Meaning
Right.
you want to
You
take
determine.
your
Mhm.
time is
Mhm.
valuable, and you already know what color you want, what interior you
Mhm.
want, what
Mhm.
you didn't already looked it up online. Matter of fact, you can just order the car online, have them delivered to your
Pretty
house.
much.
Come on, 2026. Come on now, new generation. But yes, so they're looking at recent applications, meaning there's a hard inquiry from lenders when you apply for new credit. And like
Mhm.
we had this conversation last week or 2 weeks ago about people being scared about these hard inquiry, girl. They didn't got trauma on these inquiries. Okay, that's why you want to also ask them, is this a soft pull or is this a hard pull? So this
Mhm.
is very important. Okay. And then the other thing that they're looking at, Miss Angeline, is negative marks. Okay. They're looking for collections, defaults. I couldn't think of this Friday.
Bankruptcy.
Had a brain freeze on the call. Collections, defaults, bankruptcies, repossessions, chargebacks, all of those types of things. They're looking at bankruptcies, they're looking at liens, they're looking at all these things, anything that's
Yeah.
derogatory. That
Mhm.
is what they want, so they can say, what risk are you, right?
Okay.
And they
Right.
get to make a decision on whether they want. So that is the things that are included in the credit profile. Okay,
Profile. The whole profile.
in the whole profile. And the other thing I want to add, a pro tip, and that is, you need not to have all make sure you look at the whole credit report and make sure if there's any inaccuracies on the credit report. They have your name spelled wrong, they got an address on there you ain't never lived at, and matter of fact, you only need your current address and your previous address. All them addresses where you didn't live for 50 years, look, take them off. Like, get that removed. You send them a letter, hey, please remove all these old addresses, I do not live there. you know
Yeah.
you just don't need it. It's extra information. And this is the other thing, if it's attached to some bad stuff, you don't want that address on there.
Right. Right.
Okay. And this is another pro tip that people don't know about. Everybody always know about the three major bureaus. There are other data furnishers and other bureaus out there, you guys. It's hundreds of them that have data on you. And so sometimes you have to go on these websites and opt out, that you don't
Mhm.
want to share your information. And I'll share
Mhm.
that in my inner circle. If you go into join the club, join the inner circle, I'll be sharing some of that information with you. But there are more than just the three major bureaus. There are
Right.
multiple LexisNexis, Innover. It's just so many different check systems. I mean, I can go on and on. It's all of these systems that are out there that are, where they look at background checks. They look at whether you had bad checks in the past. They know all your history, honey. They know you. Data, that's why it's so expensive, because that's what these people want, is your data, honey, because they got all the data on you. If you Google your name, you can probably go and they'll tell you where you live, who your siblings are, just this data. And you got
Data's like your Dana.
come on now, data. Come on, don't start me talking about Dana, but that's a whole nother story. That's a whole that's an inside secret. We want to talk about data. My data. DA2A. Okay. Oh, that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, stop me. Leave me alone. Stop there. So a credit score is the summary number. That's what the credit score is about. It's just saying they looked at your credit profile according to the different percentages. 35% is credit payment history, 30% is utilization, and then it goes
Mhm.
15, 10, 10, 10 to give you the points of how they calculate it. But they come up with this credit score, and it tells a full story behind the number.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That
So
makes
this is
sense.
yeah, so this is important because two people can have similar scores but very different
Different.
profile. I've
profile.
seen people with 700 credit scores, but their profile is so thin that they still can't get funding. And that's why people get upset when they go into the bank and they not using a funding expert. They go into the bank and they get denied. They got 750 credit score and they get denied. It don't have nothing to do with your credit score. It has everything to do with your credit profile and how your business is structured. Okay. And so this is very, very important. A thin profile, meaning that you don't have a lot of revolving accounts. You don't, I recommend at least 3 revolving accounts and 2 installment accounts. So if you want to work towards getting that Cinderella profile, that is, a couple of things that you need to consider. So one person may have a score of 780 because they have 1 credit card, a low balance usage, and a few years on time payment. But another person may have a 780 with multiple cards, an auto loan, a mortgage, 15 years of history, and an excellent payment history behavior across all of them. Both of them are strong, but one may appear more robust to a lender depending on the type of credit being requested. So that's why building a good credit score is helpful, but building a strong credit profile is even more powerful. All right. Do y'all get that? Do y'all get that? I'm going to talk a little bit here to see if you guys have any more questions about a strong credit profile. Anybody got any questions? Just go ahead and put that in the chat and let us know. But that's what a strong credit profile. So let's talk about a perfect credit profile. So what exactly is this? A perfect credit profile is one that reflects very low risk to the lenders, and it shows a long and reliable history of paying obligations on time, managing the debt conservatively, maintaining stability, and avoiding behaviors that signal financial stress and recklessness. Okay. So like people like my mom, I mean, she's always like, she's never ever in 50 years, of credit, probably never had a late payment, never been, had any, it's just like almost a perfect credit profile. And that is those people who have those high, 800 plus, because they have that longevity, consistent history of paying obligations on time, managing the debt. They're not over leveraging debt. They're not keeping up high balances on their credit card on a consistent basis. It's stable. They look at it. There's no behaviors that signal any financial stress. Like they haven't had any, like 2020, everything was all good. They got laid off. You can't even tell because bills were still paid on time. Didn't skip a beat. You didn't have a late mortgage. You didn't go into forbearance. It's perfect. Right. But you can restore and get there again. It just takes time. So with perfect or near perfect credit profile usually have several qualities working together. And that is this: they have a very strong credit score, often high 700s or 800s, depending on the scoring model, because we got different score models. You have the Vantage score model and you have the FICO, Fair Isaac scoring model that you can FICO, because some people go over to Credit Karma and they be like, oh my God, I got a 720. And then I go run the FICO and it's like, no, baby, you have a 620.
Oh no.
People be like, oh, I got a 720. They go down to the car, get it. They be like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Vantage is just a different scoring model. And so you just need to, make sure you're looking at the actual Experian, looking at actual Equifax, looking at actual TransUnion, so an excellent payment record, no missed payments, no delinquencies, no major derogatory marks, low utilization. They don't rely heavily on credit limits, a long credit history, open up for years, not months, healthy a healthy mix of credit types. They have both credit cards and installment loans. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's going to help your granddaughter when you're teaching her, how to do this and helping her. You teach your kids, you guys, teach them so that they will know, that they
Yes.
understand what it's all about.
Understand.
It's just sad that we don't pass this information down
Yeah.
to our children. I don't care
Yeah.
if they grown children, you might have to teach them. They may be 40 years old, but you may have to sit them down. Little baby, I know you made a mistake. Mama didn't teach you, but this is what we're going to teach you. This is how we can help you to build your credit. And you can restore and come into an 800 after having a 500. So there is hope, you guys.
There's hope. There is hope.
Yeah, it is. So you want to limit your recent credit seeking. They don't like when you're going out doing opening up a bunch of accounts at the same time, trying
Mhm.
for a whole bunch of people. That's why you want to make sure that you're eligible, and you want to do like a soft pull, so that way you can, have an opportunity to not get an actual inquiry, so they don't think you out here thirsty in these streets applying all over the place.
Thirst.
They be like, what's going on? Why? It's like gives them a signal, like, what's going
Yeah.
on? She trying to get, all of a sudden she applying everywhere. Is there distress? What's going
Yeah.
on? They're trying to figure out what's going on, so you also want to have a clean public and collections record, no recent collection, bankruptcies, repossession, charge-offs, a perfect credit profile. Just communicates something very simple to lenders. This person knows how to manage credit cards, and it's unlikely that they will become a repayment or a late payment problem. So that's what it's all, and it's not built
Yeah.
overnight, you guys. It's not built overnight. Credit rewards consistency. It rewards patience, because some people, they trying to go get repair to repair, and they think the credit repair is supposed to happen overnight. Anybody out here, let me tell you about these internet streets. Anybody out here say that they can sweep your credit? Come on now, y'all. I've seen people out here talking about that we can just sweep your credit. We can just sweep it. Like, come on. I'm telling you, y'all, these streets, girl, these internet,
Wow.
just
And and somebody
they're not
that's in
doing
a
nothing legal.
desperate
I promise you,
situation,
they're
they
not
will
doing
fall
nothing
for
legal.
that.
There is as my mama say, a cat on the line. Somebody lying. It's just like get rich quick. It ain't no quick to just repair your credit. Boom. Come on, that don't happen, you guys. It takes time.
Where'd you say cat on the line?
Girl, like a cat on somebody lying, girl. Just a lie. I don't know. I'm making up stuff, girl. Whatever. Somebody lying. You know what I'm saying? They
Somebody.
lying. Girl, somebody lied. Somebody putting some untruth,
Yeah.
applying,
Bottom line. Bottom line.
saying
Yeah.
some untrue. Girl, something is stinking. Girl, something is stinking that they can go in and just sweep your stuff. Girl, just sweep it. Girl, just, oh yeah, we can just knock all those negatives off your. Okay, so how are you doing it when I owe the people? Like, what are we doing? Like, what? Girl. Anyway, girl, that's why I don't fool with them people. So that's a whole nother stuff. So
A whole nother story. Okay.
if you're listening and thinking, well, I'm not there, that's okay. Most
Mhm.
people are building. The goal is not instant perfection. The goal is steady progress towards a stronger and more resilient profile. You work on paying down your balances, okay? You work on, all of these things. And things that we do, here's a pro tip. I can get you a loan to pay down the utilization, and that can help rebuild your score. That can help to drive down your debt to income, because what's happening is that utilization is only for credit cards. So if you
Mhm.
shift that utilization over
So
to the
installment.
installment side,
Mhm.
it raises your credit score, because it
Because it
doesn't,
spreads that out.
it
Spreads
spreads it
the risk
out.
out. Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. Or
Mhm.
you could call them, ask them to raise the limit,
Yeah.
and that can spread it out. So it's
Yeah.
just different little tricks and strategies that you can
Yeah.
use to help you in that way. And that's what it's all about, you guys. So that is what a credit profile is. That is what it all consists of. This is what a Cinderella profile is. And yeah, that's what it's all about, you guys. So I hope this was helpful today to
I
help
think
you.
so.
If you do have any questions, drop that in the chat. If you don't, that's okay. You guys will listen to the replay. Go ahead and send me a DM, what have you. If you're in need of funding, drop the word funding, and we'll be able to support you. Okay. So anything you want to add, Miss Angeline, before we get ready to get out of here tonight for a wonderful new episode tonight?
Well, I thought the information that you gave was very good, and
Yes.
especially when you drop those little pro tips, that
Yeah.
gave a little extra to it.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, I'm sure it helped somebody on the call
Yeah.
today.
Miss
Um,
Charlotte said, very helpful. Thank you for
mhm.
joining me.
And
Mindset.
and another thing, they may have heard some of these things before, but
Yeah.
just to hear it again and maybe in a more detailed manner,
Yeah.
broken down as well, will is possibly helpful as well. And so
Yeah.
next week, I'll be talking about tax because it's tax season, right?
Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
I'm going to be talking about strategizing for 2026. Where
Hmm.
it's not too late to plan out your tax year, especially for those that are in business. You're an entrepreneur, right? Or you're self employed. You have um, maybe some rental properties, or you have a high W-2 income. There are strategies that can be put
Yes.
in place right now, even at the beginning of the year, that you can take advantage of and leverage to reduce your taxable income for 2026. It's not too late. Okay. And
Yes.
so if you are interested, you just want to hear more about it. If you're needing just a little bit more information, if you are on my IG Live or Facebook, you can just drop the word savings, and that would connect you to me. Savings with a S, or not, no, saving without a S, saving, SAVING, and that will connect you with me on a calendar. We could just have a quick discovery call where I could just share some information, get a little about you. Um, and then if you're on Katrina's IG Live or Facebook, drop meetwithangeline.com. That will connect you with me as well. Okay.
All right. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
So that's what
Awesome.
we're going to be
Awesome.
talking about next week is taxes. It's still not too late because April 15th is around the corner. And so,
Hmm.
give you some pro tips to think about. It's not too much you could probably do right now for last year, 2025, but put it in your wheelhouse, put it in um your thinking, your thought process, put it in your planning stage, which you can do for 2026.
There you go. Go to meetwithangeline.com. That's www.meetwithangeline.com. Okay. On Money Coach Katrina Fitten and New Day for You Financial Facebook. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. If there's one thing I hope for you to take away, and that is this: building a perfect or nearly perfect credit profile is absolutely possible for many people, but it
Mm,
happens through simple, repeatable actions over time.
over time.
You do not need to be a
Simple,
financial
repeatable
genius.
action over
You don't have to
time.
be a financial genius. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to carry debt forever. What you need
Consistent,
is consistency,
consistent.
awareness, and
Mhm.
discipline. And my homework to you guys is to tell your children. Okay.
Good.
I don't care if they're 8 years old, 10, 12, 16, 18. Help them, tell them little tidbits or just a little bit about it, and as they grow, as they get 18, then you want to help them to start building that credit. Okay. You do not,
That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
That's what
Good.
your homework is. And then for you, if you're trying to build your credit, or your spouse or your significant other, you guys help each other to be able to start paying down debt if that's your situation. Or you are, obviously, if you have any fraud like we talked about, then obviously you can go through and you'll write letters, just chat GPT it. We talked about that on here, where you can go and get your full credit report. You can deduct all your personal information, and you can download that in there, and it'll tell you what to do. It'll give you the letters that it help to send out, to be able to dispute anything that's inaccurate, all of the things. If you want to learn more about more information on this, join the club. That's drop the word CLUB, and you can join the She's Fully Funded Club, and it will allow you to learn more. I have courses, free courses and classes all about credit, things that I have taught over the years that are in there. And so the credit profile is really a reflection of habits, you guys. And the good news is habits can change. You can improve, uh,
That's
uh,
yep.
become stronger month by month and year by year. So whether you are just starting your credit journey, rebuilding after the few mistakes life has happened, or trying to just move from good to excellent, remember this: every on time payment, every low balance, every smart decision is helping shape the financial story your credit profile tells. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, share it. Okay, share it with someone who's working on improving their credit, and be sure to tune in for our next episode next week. Miss Angeline will be sharing at the same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific
Pacific.
Standard Time. Join us on Money Coach Katrina Fitten, or Grow, Thrive, and Prosper Collect.
Collective.
Okay.
Yes.
Until next time, take care of your money, and your money will take care of you.
There be.
Bless. Love y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.